Marco.
Test, test, test. It's looking like it's about that time, everybody. It's looking like we're back. We are so back. It's crazy. Well, welcome, everyone. Hope you guys can hear me well. Glad we're here. Look, as you can see, we're still in the temporary makeshift setup, which looks super HD for some reason. I still have half a floor. Goontax, what up? Specs in the chat, which popped up on the screen. Goontax is almost due. Hit the Streamlabs. You don't want to be sent to the barracks. We just ran out of loincloths for the week. Come on. Come on, it's serious out here, guys. Thank you, Specs. Welcome. Yeah, I still have half a floor from the flooding that we had here in the new house, and so I'm still waiting on the world to change. Still waiting for no warm-up, by the way. Still waiting for the flooring and the whatever, so we have this temporary setup that we're still working with, and it'll be fine. But let me first say what up to everybody in the chat. Paul, Burger Baron, Uriel, Paul, you know, great names we're seeing. Chris, Beetlejuice, Specs. Only mod right now is Specs. Shoe Murphy, what up? Thumbs up the ting, of course. If you guys are here, click like on the stream if you want to support the channel. Push it in the algorithm. If you really want to be a super goon, you know, super chat goal for a Discord movie night, 10 super chats is ending in 24 minutes, OMG. And of course, the goal on the screen, which you see here through the Streamlabs link in the chat, which is the pinned comment in the chat. If you want to support through that, buddy, boy, oh boy, is there a lot of costs associated with this channel that I've recently incurred that we need to get up. I've got a new bookkeeper. Got to get the money for that. I need a external monitor so that I'm not like hunched over like this, getting scoliosis editing, and I can edit these videos faster because it'll be an easier workflow. The lawyer recoup.
What you were about to witness.
The lawyer money recoup. We need that in a big way. Thank you, Shoe Murphy, saying the audio is blessed. Alex FPV, what up? Big mod action in the chat right now. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, dude. So, you know, appreciate y'all. Gym membership to maintain large arms. Your boy hasn't been to the gym in how long? 2 weeks? Oh shit, that's the longest I've not been to the gym in over a year, which I'm proud to say that, but also, you know, we don't want to lose that momentum because it's easier to keep up than it is to catch up. 1 second. Assassins? And I lived. New Air Force Ones. No, actually, I still have Air Force Ones from like 8 years ago in my closet. Okay, so let's take a look, Sipu, at what I want to look at here. You guys saw the title and thumbnail of this stream. Well, let's jump back in time to May 31st, 2023, on a stream I did called Meet Tim Sales, and let's just watch a little background between me and Tim Sales, who we've had an interaction before. We've had a brush with each other on the internet before. Let's see what Always Marco 2 years ago, who was a lot rounder in the face, had to say. Here we go. This video is from 4 years ago. This guy, Tim Sales, is a pro MLM network marketing, as they call it, which is a made-up term that means nothing, just like multi-level marketing is a made-up term that means nothing. But Tim posted a challenge asking for MLM folks to debate him because he said nobody wants to debate him, and he had this sort of pretty brazen invite saying nobody will debate me. So I left a comment on one of his videos, and I'll see if I can pull this up here actually. Jamie, pull that up. Yeah, here it is. Okay, 1 second. Pictures. Okay, so look. So I commented on Tim's video, and I said, Tim, I'm an anti-MLM creator with over 60K subscribers, and I will happily debate you. And the first reply from Corey Simmons, don't know who that is, says, you will get destroyed. And Tim Love reacts to that. Then Tim says, this is great. Hi, Marco. I appreciate the introduction. I tend to move through categories or themes of content on my channel. Already bullshit that I'm listening to. And right now I'm working on themes related to marketing, and lead generation, K, which every business must do to generate income. Wow. Including network marketers. I'll hang on to your invitation. Perhaps when I'm focused on industry again, or there's a topic that arises in the news or industry that's relevant to discuss, we can circle back around to your invitation. Now, this is pussy or bumbleclass excuses. Nonsense. Okay, so you get the idea. That was the background between Tim Sales and I. Now, Julie Anderson recently did a great video reacting to, and I think I might have reacted to it in this video as well, where I'm reacting to a video from Tim Sales called Network Marketing Success, Who Earns Millions, Who Earns Zero, Why? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that Julie Anderson, the video she released 12 hours ago called Tim Sales Destroys Anti-MLM,
Tim Sales here in this,
which is, of course, satirical in nature. Let's see, with this thumbnail. I love Julie. She's so, like, she doesn't give a fuck. And she's getting better with the thumbnails, too, Julie. Making good thumbnails. So MLM expert versus anti-MLM. And this is her reacting to, I believe it's the same video, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that. One thing I wanted to react to, which I thought was such a great example of, you know, if you ever watched the Lula Rich docuseries on Amazon Prime, you'll see how in LuLaRoe, they got Katy Perry to perform at one of their conventions. And, you know, like I Am Academy, they had Black China, they had Floyd Mayweather promoting it. The list of celebrity endorsements for MLM is endless, truly endless. And it's just a simple way to purchase influence and to purchase legitimacy or credibility or appear legitimate is to pay money for the cosigns and the influence of people that the public trusts and likes and is fans of. And so that's what I realized happened here. There's a video on Tim Sales' channel where he's getting interviewed by Larry King. And I thought, Tim Sales was on Larry King? That's interesting. And what I came to discover is that no, actually, Tim Sales was not at all on Larry King, but rather they faked an interview. And I'm going to show you how they faked the interview. What up, Julie, in the chat? Okay. Is this the same Julie from the members-only exclusive video? Yes, and that video will be public soon. But if you're a member, early access, of course. You can gift memberships to other people in the chat as well. What up, Julie? What up? Sukhbir Singh, what up? Okay. So, Joe says, literally just finished watching Julie's Tim Sales video. Nice. Bill Burr PHP endorsement when, oh, interesting. I got to do a video on that. Okay, so looky here. Oh, that's my stream. Here's a video. This is from Network Marketing Power. I believe this is Tim Sales' website, if I'm not mistaken. Larry King interviews Tim Sales about MLM. This article was released in 2021, but the actual interview happened in 2009. So let's take a look at this. When there was no one in the media willing to talk about it, Larry King was intrigued by the MLM industry and its perception by outsiders, and he wanted to participate in bringing, quote, the unvarnished truth about the network marketing industry to the public. Does it sound like bullshit? It is. I'll forever be grateful for that and always remember this day. So this is an RIP post to Larry King. It was an honor to be interviewed by you in 2009 on this stage. Hold on, stage? The Larry King Show doesn't happen on a stage. It happens maybe on a sound stage in the studio, but it doesn't happen on a stage, right? So what's going on? Larry grilled me pretty hard on some of the most common questions and objections in the network marketing industry. And yeah, by the end of it, I think he was on our side. You'll see that there is not actually any grilling going on because Larry King, as far as we can tell, and I think based on information and based on my hunch, tells me that Larry King was actually paid to do this. So do you really think he's going to be grilling that hard? If you look at all of these photos, the reason I'm showing you this article is because in all of these photos where Tim Sales is captured, you know, candidly talking with Larry, getting interviewed by Larry King, you don't see a logo anywhere. You just think this is an interview talking about network marketing, right? But what you don't see in this post or in any of these pictures is where this was and what was actually happening behind it. Now, let's jump over real quick to the actual interview itself. You also don't really get a feel for where it is. It's just shots, like close-up shots of them talking. You don't really get an idea for where this is, right? Look, do you see any logo or anything? I don't. I certainly don't. So it's set up, and I've talked about this in my video about Patrick Bet-David's MLM that I released last year, is that in all the footage you see from the interviews with Patrick where he's interviewing Kobe and Shaq and Jordan Peterson, all of these videos and interviews, they're all filmed at PHP events, right? Patrick is running a multi-level marketing scheme. The people who are in the scheme are paying exorbitant amounts, hundreds of dollars, to go to these conferences for PHP or Patrick's Vault conference where, whatever. So they're paying the money. Of that money, he can then afford to hire speakers and guests. And then when he brings those guests on, having them commit 30 minutes or an hour to have a conversation with Patrick on stage is already paid for because the brainwashed members of your multi-level marketing scheme are paying for it. But then filming that content, which it's at your event, there's nothing stopping you from filming it, filming that content and then releasing it on a separate channel to build your own personal brand and talking about things that aren't directly related to multi-level marketing, or they are having those conversations, but they're cutting it out of the final thing, I can only guess, so that he can pass it off as like, this just looks like a guy at a conference interviewing somebody you're interested in hearing from at a conference, somebody who a lot of people like. And it's through that method that people like Patrick Bet-David can act as sort of a mollusk on the hull of celebrities. They can leech onto celebrities just by giving them money, which they got through scamming, so that they can appear more legitimate and build personal brands and build companies and do whatever else. And I realized that that's exactly what's happening here with Larry King and Tim Sales. Because if you search, and I have a couple of tabs to prove this to you. So if you search on Google, USANA Larry King, USANA, very old, very famous MLM company. The query USANA Larry King likely refers to the late interviewer Larry King's involvement as a keynote speaker at events for USANA Health Sciences, a multi-level marketing company. Okay, so he was actually hired as a keynote speaker, and this little interview stunt that they pulled was part of that. It's just like Patrick Bet-David's little fake interviews that he does with Kobe and Jordan Peterson. And why do I say fake interview? Because, of course, it is a real interview. They're having a real conversation, and perhaps it's prompted, just like regular, late night TV show interviews are prompted. I mean, you could even say those are fake because they usually know what they're going to be talking about on a late night TV show, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, whatever. So you could also say those are fake because they're not like, it's not like a podcast, for example, where people are just having a naturally progressing conversation. Here, I call it fake because not only is it not a off-the-cuff conversation, it is orchestrated to the point that you couldn't say it's just a normal conversation. And also it's set up in such a way where it's like, this guy was already paid to be there. Larry King was already paid to be there. They've set it up in such a way where none of the cameras in the actual interview capture the USANA logo. It's just used as like network marketing fodder, propaganda for Tim Sales and the MLM. I don't like to say industry, I like to say apparatus. The MLM apparatus as a whole, to sort of pass off and write these bullshit articles after Larry King dies, being like, Larry was so curious about the network marketing industry and he grilled me pretty hard. Fuck you. So that's what it says here. Larry was a keynote speaker at USANA's 2009 International Convention, which also featured the company's factor, Dr. Myron Wentz. And at the 2012 convention, he was announced as an encore speaker, appearing alongside other notable speakers. I think Dr. Oz was also one of them. Here's another tab to prove that. This is from USANA's actual website, whatsupusana.com. And it says, Larry King making encore visit to USANA convention. We're pulling out all the stops for our 20th anniversary, including a great lineup of speakers. Dr. Oz, John Maxwell, Larry King, some other names you might recognize. So that's another piece of proof there. Here's the photo of them from the exact same day. You can tell if you look at the actual interview, if you want to call it that. Let's look at this here. Larry looks very... Larry's like, how much am I being paid for this? Let's just get this over with. Here's the outfits that they're wearing. Here's what they look like during the interview. And here is them with the backdrop of USANA Health Sciences and a Fox 13 Utah microphone from a news station. Another important tidbit here is, where is this happening? It's happening in Utah. If you know anything about MLM, about Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism, Utah, the connections with Utah and multi-level marketing and religious cults. I found some more information about it here. This is an article from August 2009 from a Utah, you see it's tagged as Utah. All right. Larry King, a comedian. King surprised a crowd of 8,000 plus USANA Health Sciences worldwide affiliates at Energy Solutions Arena on Saturday with a visit and a bit of comedy during the company's 17th annual convention. He also sat down with first-class MLM founder Tim Sales for an on-stage interview about the multi-level marketing business. Why Larry King, why USANA, and why comedy? King has several ties to Utah. His wife, Sean, is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and her family lives in the state. Okay, that's part one. He says, I married a Mormon and have paid for it ever since, said King, who was raised Jewish. The Mormon and Jewish cultures are a lot in common and not a lot in common, he said. All Mormons are late. No Jew has ever been late. Jews have missionaries that journey to Miami Beach, and LDS missionaries go around the world. Ha ha ha. King said he hasn't yet met President Thomas S. Monson, but he expressed great admiration for the LDS church leader's predecessor, Gordon B. Hinckley, saying they were good friends. The Kings have a home in Provo, Utah, and visit every Thanksgiving around Christmas, but that's not what brought King and his act to town this time around. Tim Sales was acquainted with Sean King's brother, Paul, who's also involved in multi-level marketing, and asked if King would perform his comedy act for USANA affiliates. Now, I never heard of Larry King being a comedian before this, but I found the video. It's called Larry King Live Stand-Up Comedy at USANA Convention 2009 Part 1. Part 1 only has 8,000 views in 16 years. Part 2, even less. Part 3, even less. I'll give you a little glimpse of that here.
That I married Paul's sister now. I did. She's a lovely girl. And we have two
The audio isn't great.
children. Two boys. I have grown children, but I have two little boys with Sean. One is 10, one is 9. She's done without Viagra.
Ha ha ha. So he goes on like this for a bit, and he's just doing stand-up comedy. I didn't watch the full 3 parts, but you get the idea. This is a real video. It's before AI. This is from 2009. It was uploaded 2009. There's no AI. You see him on stage. It says USANA. He's wearing the same outfit as he is in this thing. You can tell it's the same thing. So let's keep reading. The longtime host. Okay, so just to recap. Tim Sales was friends with or knew the wife of Larry King, her brother. Okay, Tim Sales knew a guy whose sister is Larry King's wife. There you go. The longtime host of Larry King Live got into the comedy game in May when his good friend and Las Vegas casino owner Steve Wynn challenged him to perform comedy at the Wynn. Okay, we don't care about that. Let's continue on. What King really wanted to know from Sales and USANA founder Myron Wentz was about the bad image of multi-level marketing. He says, quote, I want more knowledge of it, said King, who says he was among the victims of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. Oh, the irony. I'm expecting to learn a lot, and if I do a good job, we'll all learn a lot. So if you think for a second that there was any chance that Larry King was actually going to say something negative about this industry where he's literally being paid, presumably paid. I don't have the actual receipt or pay stub that proves he was being paid. Perhaps he did it as a favor because his wife's brother asked him to, maybe. But even if that's the case, you can tell that it would have been a conflict of interest, at least personally. Even if he wasn't being paid, it would have been a personal conflict for him to come away saying anything bad about this company or MLM, network marketing, let alone say anything bad about this company. So, take it with a grain of salt when he says he really wants to understand the bad image of multi-level marketing. And again, the irony is that Bernie Madoff says he was a victim of, Larry King says he was a victim of Bernie Madoff. Well, you guys might know this, but Bernie Madoff was... at the time, it was discovered to be the biggest Ponzi scheme that anyone had ever conducted. I think actually MLM holds that distinction far and away. As a matter of fact, MLMs are worse than Ponzi schemes, and I have a video about that on my channel. But it's not a surprise to find out that Larry King was part of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme because one thing that Bernie Madoff did was he he made it seem like he was a very exclusive guy to invest with. Not just anybody could invest with Bernie Madoff. If you ever watched the movie The Wizard of Lies, I think we did a Discord movie night about that one time. If you ever watched the movie The Wizard of Lies, where Robert De Niro plays Bernie Madoff, you see that there's a point made about how Bernie didn't just scam normal people off the street. He also scammed his friends and family. And one of the things that some people really took issue with was the fact that he scammed fellow parishioners at his synagogue. He was Jewish, and he scammed fellow people in his own Jewish community. And if you know about Larry King was also Jewish. So it was a big deal, not just for the world at large and the market at large, but it was a big deal because Jewish communities famously have a strong sense of, camaraderie. They help each other generally, so it was quite a reviled thing to see that Bernie Madoff was actually exploiting and scamming people in his own community. Not even, you would expect that at least a scammer with some conscience wouldn't scam his own relatives, right? They would at least try to scam strangers. When these people from, a call center in India or whatever call you to scam you and tell you that they're the government and you owe taxes or we're going to arrest you, you can at least know that they're not, they're doing it to strangers on the other side of the world who they'll never meet, which maybe makes them feel less bad about it. But Bernie Madoff was doing it literally to everybody. So, and you can imagine the rich Jewish people that Bernie Madoff was scamming, collectively their impact was probably considerable. So let's go to look at the interview and see what Larry and Tim have to say.
A few months ago, there was a guy in my house named Tim Sales.
Okay, so he was in his house. So already within the first few seconds, we see that there's some sort of established, they know each other. It's not like some producer of the show set this up and we're on the Larry King show, but they've done their best to set it up to look like the Larry King live show. But you can see there's a band. You can hear the reverb in the room that they're obviously in a big stadium. They're not, on a closed soundstage with proper microphones and whatever. So let's check it out.
And I spoke with Tim through his interpreter. We had a wonderful conversation. And we talked a lot about a lot of things. And I got fascinated with this whole MLM industry. So I thought if you'd have me here, I'll talk to him all about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Sales, come on out.
Okay, so, everyone's obviously already been primed for what this is. Thumbs up the ting, by the way, y'all. Suck Beer Sing calling out the lack of likes. Click like on the stream. It helps people get notified that we're live. Chris said, I love the one where Tom Brady, it was actually Shaq, asks, is this an insurance company? Not knowing what you're endorsing until after you've gotten paid and shown up to an event. Tisk, tisk. Yep. Larry got to get the bag. Yes. Julie says, wow, this was totally set up to misrepresent what Larry King was doing. Unreal how this was just a USANA event, right? LDS Bible Belt, yes. Plan on reacting to revolutionary thinkings. Oh, he has new videos? No, hold on. Everybody stop. This is important. By the way, that guy, Revolutionary Thinking, tried to make a privacy complaint on the live stream where I exposed his video saying that I was like spreading anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, and of course his request was denied. Revolutionary Thinking. How do I even find his channel? Revolutionary. Oh, here it is. Is this it? Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, here it is. I refuse to be your content. Well, sorry, dude. You're posting on the internet. Anyone can make you their content if they want to. Oh, he's making Always Marco field research. Oh, dude, we have to watch these after. Always Marco finally saves Gaza, or at least he thinks he did. Oh, see, dude, we have a new character in the Always Marco verse, y'all. We have a new character in the Always Marco verse, a new villain in the Rogues Gallery. Always Marco doesn't read a video description. Okay, we have to watch. Did I watch this one already? If you guys recall, now you know what? He's just making it worse for himself. Now you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to Exposing CoffeeZilla. Oh, wow. You know what I'm going to have to do now? I'm going to have to actually clip that whole anti-Semitism thing, the fake video that this guy made about me. I'm going to have to clip the whole thing and make it an actual video on my channel just to really bring home the point of the Streisand effect, because this guy seems to be just digging in his heels deeper and deeper. I mean, how much? I bet you all 4 of these videos are about me. Let's see. I refuse to be your content. Okay, no, hold on. Let me finish with one topic before I move on to this, but we're going to move on to this later. Don't get me wrong. 23 hours ago, 1 day ago, 8 days ago, 8 days ago. Oh, dude, this guy's reeling. This guy is reeling. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, I literally am his whole life. It's crazy. Go back and watch that stream if you haven't seen it. The stream in question was called, I'll point you to it so you can watch it after this if you haven't seen it yet. It was called Big Pyramid is so desperate that they've resorted to slander. And in this video, I show this guy, Ariel Bakshande, if I'm saying his name right, that's his name. And I go over his video he made. It's like an AI text-to-speech thing where he's basically trying to expose me for... because I did a stream talking about Netanyahu and PBD, and this guy's an Israeli and Israel supporter, and he wasn't happy with that. And when I went to his channel, when I went to his channel, in the description, oh look, I'm even in the description now. Look at his channel. Satire that makes you think. My work on Marco is my least funny and entertaining work. Check some of my other videos, please. You'll laugh more. This guy has the Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles mental illness where he thinks that like people actually watch this. Dude, the only people watching this shit are like the people I'm rebroadcasting it to. But you know I love this. You know I love trying to give my haters a few pointers when it comes to trying to cancel me and make propaganda videos about me, because people at home are smart enough to know to spot the propaganda. And funny enough, he changed his description because before there was a link to his personal Facebook in there. And let's see if I can still find that personal Facebook, or if it's if it's private now. Yeah, it's still there. Ariel Bakshande, here he is. I think he maybe has made it private now. But yeah, this is him. This is the guy. He had a link to this in his here he is. Here he is with Danny Ayalon, founder of The Truth About Israel. Okay, don't even let me get started down this lane. Here he is in his, it seems, IDF colors. Here he is saluting the Israeli flags, looking totally out of shape. Don't worry, America. Israel is behind you. So this is the level of psychopathy we're dealing with here. And that, he had a link to that personal Facebook page in the bio for this faceless channel, which, all the videos are AI text-to-speech slop. But leave it to me to find him, am I right? Always Marco. So, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. So, anyways, let's continue on with Tim Sales before we get back to Israel. Back to Ariel.
Let's get into it. I'm going to interview Tim, and I hope you find this informative, entertaining, and that you know a lot more when we're done than before we started, because that's what I do for a living. So Tim, let's get right down to it. Definition: multi-level marketing is?
You have to understand what category it sits inside of. If you and I came up and
Why are they wearing the lav mics just for the audio to be this bad? Why are they using the room audio?
Had coffee cups to sell. We have to figure out how to sell it. Where do we get?
Dude, I will not subject you guys to this bad audio quality.
Some people like to ask questions. The distributor gets.
Let's just skip ahead to where he's answering the objections about people calling it a pyramid scheme, which of course, as we know, every legitimate business has to debunk the claims that they're not a pyramid scheme, right? They have to debunk the claim that they are a pyramid scheme, and prove that they're not one, and make endless circular arguments and false equivalences and analogies and acronyms. Poor just means passing over opportunities repeatedly. Job means journey of the broke. Scam means still confused about money. Every legitimate company, as we know, has to deal with that and do that type of stuff to prove that they're legit, right, guys? Sarcasm. Here we go. Pyramid scheme. Let's check it out.
A bit like a pyramid scheme.
Oh.
The FTC will consider the plan a pyramid scheme. The amount of internal consumption in any multi-level compensation business does not determine whether or not the FTC will consider the plan a pyramid scheme. Okay, so it's not illegal, but it is unconventional. And it looks
do I even need to say anything?
looks a little bit like a pyramid scheme, and so therefore people get this idea, well, it must be a scheme, must be a scam.
Well, I'm listening to that, but if 80% of my people are distributors and 20% are customers, that don't play out. I got more distributors than customers. I got more people out pushing something than selling it. It's confusing to me. What is a pyramid?
What is
If that's not a pyramid, what's a pyramid?
Uh-oh, Larry. You're lucky that you're Larry King, because now you see that, nervous smile from Tim Sales. You're lucky that you're Larry King, because now if you've ever watched those true crime videos where the channels are breaking down the interrogation footage of someone who's been accused of a crime, you notice how, a channel like JCS Psychology, right? The suspect will be asked a question by the police. Where were you on October 15th? And it's really telling how a guilty person answers versus how an innocent person answers. An innocent person will say, I was at home. I was at work. I was at the movies. A guilty person will say, oh, well, let's see, that was so long ago. I think I was, oh yeah, you know what? I was at work because on that day I thought I was not going to be working and I was on call, but actually somebody called in sick and I wanted to go cover their shift because, my coworker, she's been having a hard time because she just had a baby and she was originally on mat leave, but then she had some complications and she had to go back. So they just go on and on and on. They drone on. The longer the answer, the bigger the lie, So let's see what Tim's answer is going to be here to what is a pyramid.
I love it when you do that.
That's what I try.
All right. I can do it with this. All right. If there is no product whatsoever, all right? Let me just put this.
product.
No product. All right. So there was a pyramid back in the late 1970s, 80s. It was called the airplane game. And what it was, I'm going to draw this one, is that you got two people. And when you got two people in the business, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with them, but just a second.
Drawing circles on paper for Larry King. Go on.
You get two people, you were called a co-pilot. All right? Now, what did you ask the two people to do? You asked them to invest $1,500 each. All right? So they invest $1,500. And you invested $1,500. Now, why did you invest it? Right to play the game. Okay. When you helped them each get two, then that was called crew. And then when you helped them each get two, that was called passenger. And you were then promoted to pilot, and you got $10,000 in cash paid to you for an investment of $1,500.
That's a letter. That's the old...
It's a pyramid scheme. That is the definition of a pyramid scheme.
There's no...
Again, he didn't give a definition. He gave an example. An example and a definition are not the same thing. We all know that because we all went to elementary school and we understand basic logic and critical thinking, right? At least to that level. He didn't answer the question of what a pyramid is, and he also falsely asserted that because there's no product, that's what makes it a pyramid scheme. And this is, of course, false. Earlier, he was reading something from the FTC website, being like, see, but he won't read the thing from the FTC website that says, actually, it doesn't matter if the company has a product or not, they can still be a pyramid scheme. And even long before this was filmed in 2009, Holiday Magic and Costco, two MLMs that had products, were also shut down for being pyramid schemes. And this continues on and on. Vima shut down for being a pyramid scheme. Advocare sued for being a pyramid scheme. The list is literally 30 plus companies long, which you can go find on Truth in Advertising's website. And I've showed it in videos several times before. It's just a lie. I like to get into on this channel the language games and the sort of mental gymnastics that scammers use. I like to point out the deflections. I like to point out the sort of debate tactics, false equivalences, double speak, etc. But sometimes there's nothing to point out. It's just good old classic lying, omission of truth, lying by omission or just outright lying. In this case, Tim Sales is lying by omission because he's correct. The airplane game was a pyramid scheme, and there are certainly pyramid schemes that don't have a product. As a matter of fact, I think the airplane game could more accurately be described as a Ponzi scheme because it's just cash for cash's sake, and you're just trying to get more people in to get the cash. I guess you would say it's a pyramid scheme because the recruits themselves are the ones doing the recruiting, whereas in a Ponzi, usually it's just the operator of the Ponzi scheme, think like a Bernie Madoff, going around to the different prospects trying to get their money, and then they're just sitting and waiting for their return. They're not actually taking an active role in bringing new people on, which is another reason why MLM is so much more harmful than a classic Ponzi scheme, because in MLM, it turns the victims also into the victimizers. You didn't just lose your money and time and, go through mental anguish through the brainwashing tactics. You also subjected others to it. You also herded other people like lambs to the slaughter and brought them to your upline or introduced them to your upline on a Zoom meeting, which led them to the same perils. So it's much, much worse than a classic Ponzi scheme. But I digress. Tim Sales is not incorrect in pointing out that the airplane game was a Ponzi scheme. The way he is lying is by saying that a pyramid scheme doesn't have a product. And if that's the only thing you're relying on, I mean, it's a huge red flag. If you ask anyone who's in an MLM and they say, oh, well, a pyramid scheme doesn't have a product, don't just take it from me. FTC pyramid scheme. Here's the website. I love this. FTC is closed due to the lapse in funding. Here we go. What's a pyramid scheme and how do you spot one? Pyramid schemes are scams. They can look remarkably like legitimate MLM opportunities and often sell actual products. So there you go. That's in the description of what a pyramid scheme is. So again, it has nothing to do with products or not. Yeah. Let me check out your comments here real quick. What up, Jammin' Kid? Then he'd rap Nicki Minaj for us. Good times, yeah. Marco's his job. Nothing more impressive than your highly paid staff vetting your guests, right? It just looks like one. Appreciate you, Marty. Appreciate you, Hamad. Guy Incognito says they love conflating pyramid with pyramid scheme. Yeah, they love conflating any sort of hierarchy or chain of command with a pyramid scheme. Off to a bizarre start, the spaceship to nowhere. I always say, show me an MLM where someone makes a livable wage without recruiting. It doesn't exist, therefore pyramid scheme. Not only a livable wage, show me anyone who has ever made a net profit actually retailing multi-level marketing products. It's never been done. It's literally never been shown. The FTC can't tell you. There's no MLM company that can show you with verified pay stubs and receipts. They can't show you. It doesn't exist. If you have to recruit to rank to get paid, you're being exploited. Yes, true.
Product.
There is no product. This right here, if you multiply this out, $1,500 times, and there's 8 people here, times 8 comes out to be about $12,000. That means that $2,000 went up the line to the administrator of the scheme, and $10,000 was paid off here, and that's the scheme. In other words, there's no product, Larry.
So eventually there'd be one guy left in the country.
Maybe. Or all of a sudden the FTC comes in, shuts it down, and then all of that money immediately goes lost.
Bernie Madoff. That was a scheme, right? That was a Ponzi scheme. Like
that's different than this, but it is a scheme. And we sometimes get looked at that way by someone who really doesn't understand.
Again, every accusation is a confession. The people who call us a pyramid scheme, they just don't understand. When in reality, it's either them who A, doesn't understand, or B, understands perfectly well, but they're feigning ignorance in order to remain evil and continue doing fraud.
All right. let me explain a Ponzi scheme so that it doesn't happen to you.
But it did. I was Madoff. That's generally known. I was Madoff.
You were Madoff, meaning that you gave Madoff money.
Mm-hmm. And he gave me back a lot of money along the way. So while at the end I lost some, but along the way I got back, because to successfully do a Ponzi scheme, you have to pay people back when they ask for it.
That's the magician's act. That you have to do. In other words, the magician's act.
True, and that's why MLM is not a magician's act, but rather it's the Wizard of Oz. I think that's a good analogy, because you go seeking whatever you're seeking from the wizard and you realize it's actually all just a farce. In MLM, you don't just give your money and wait for a return like in a Ponzi scheme where you might actually get a return if you get out early enough. Remember, you can get out, you can cash out of a Ponzi scheme and it can keep going because you might not be far enough down the line before it collapses. That could be actually, you could make money doing that. You have a higher chance of making money in MLM. But in MLM, they say, give us your money for this product and keep buying it every month. Keep buying in every month. And there's no expectation whatsoever that you're going to make the money back. They say it's on you. They say you have the power. Just follow the plan. Just believe. Just send 100 messages a day on Facebook. This is the lie. This is one element of the big lie. There's a quote that I used as a caption on one of my reels on Instagram recently, which I think is it very well describes multi-level marketing. And the saying is, to get away with one lie, 1,000 lies are needed. And this is true. If you lie, you need to create a network of lies around that lie. To hide a lie, 1,000 lies are needed. To get around that and to keep passing it off, you need to create an intricate web of lies so it becomes so burdensome for any individual or group to try to sift through all of the lies and expose them one by one, that you remain insulated in a cavern of lies so that you can never, you don't have to, face accountability or face justice. And in the case of multi-level marketing, the big lie is so big, in fact, that even the Federal Trade Commission, their existence and their role as the sort of justice, force of justice or last line of defense against pyramid schemes is also a lie. It's also a farce. It's really interesting.
Act is that you make it look authentic, meaning that people of your credibility can ask for their money back and they get it. But you didn't ask for all of it.
No.
All right, here's a Ponzi scheme. Here's a Ponzi scheme. People going into the administrator, all right? So this is the administrator, all right? And people coming out. As long as you have more people coming in to the system, so, this person puts in $1 million.
True with MLM as well. It's in a constant state of collapse, and you need to have the people who are already in continuously buying as well as recruiting new people.
He can't cover it.
Wait a minute, you told me this. That sounds like a bank. If everybody...
Why do you think the printing press is running wide open in the United States right
If
now?
every depositor in the bank wanted their money back tomorrow, the bank is a Ponzi, right? You don't have it because it's taken in more than it's given out.
That's exactly right.
But it's legal.
It is legal, and you know why? And do you know why it won't collapse? Because the government can print the money.
It's so actually mind-blowing to watch this, to watch these two talk about, to be so close yet so far away at the same time. It frustrates me to no end, because what they're saying about the bank is correct. Fractional reserve banking, meaning the bank only holds a percentage of all the amount that they have deposited from their clients at one time. If you have $1 million in your bank account, but you go to the bank and say, hey, I'd like to withdraw all $1 million in cash, I guarantee you, you're not going to get it. Okay? If everybody who has money deposited in the bank tries to go and withdraw their money at the same time, it's what's called a run on the bank. And the bank is going to not have the money to cover it. But there's an intricate web of deceptions and red tape and bureaucracies that allows banks to get around this problem through things like bailouts, passing the buck onto the consumer. There's a book that I'm listening to right now called The Creature from Jekyll Island, which is all about the creation of the Federal Reserve and our modern fractional reserve banking system. Very, if you want to live a peaceful life where you don't know too much, ignorance is bliss, as they say, don't listen to that book. But it's really mind-boggling to see them talk about something like the banking system and how the bank can print more money as a means of getting around the fact that it is basically a game of musical chairs or a Ponzi scheme. The difference with that and MLM is that MLM is also playing the game of musical chairs, but they can't print more money. They can't print more money. So yes, you actually can and will likely lose, and they are designed for people to lose. It's just interesting seeing them talk around the subject of what they really are.
Right? To bail it out.
Yeah.
That's to help the guy on the street who put the money in.
Yeah, see, in this scenario, you don't have any more money coming in, but what if you had a printing press over here? You can just crank out a couple of $1 trillion anytime
But
you
the
want.
government has to do that to protect you. Would you
Protect
not
us.
want the government to do that? Would you want the government to say to all the people who got screwed by the bank, you're screwed?
That's also a common con to say that the government is printing more money to protect people who got screwed by the bank. They're all connected. To act like the government is on the other side of the fence, being like, now watch it, Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve isn't actually a government institution, right? Don't let me get too deep. I've already talked about Bernie Madoff. I already talked about this guy who's from Israel. I already talked about people having Jewish backgrounds. Don't let me get too deep into this conversation about the banking system, because then we're really going to be getting the anti-Semite accusations over here.
As opposed to what?
Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Federal Deposit, that's great. But right now, I think there's 65.
What is going on right now? No way.
Pander
Wow.
_PC just tithed 120 Canadian dollars to the cult. Don't KYSPLS. KTHXBYE.
Thank you. We know who that is. Pander Pussy, aka Panda Pooksy. Appreciate you, man. Panda. I know who it is. I don't want to say. I'll use his screen name, but I know this person in real life. So thank you, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You really. Thank you, dude. Yeah, need that for the new PC monitor. So thank you. Let's do another one because we got more goals that we got to get through. Legend carrying it on his first dono of the night, and took out the goal completely by himself. So real legend. This new dono goal is a much more serious Dr. B level, Legend Gaming type level dono goal. Taxes. This encapsulates not actually the money that I owe on the taxes, not the money that was, oh fuck, we didn't even talk about my bank account being frozen and the tax money that was taken, the almost $4,000. This is for the new bookkeeper to do my taxes. So, and this is just going to be for 1 year. I'm behind on it. So Scott Johnson was right. Always Marco, he's behind on his taxes. Yeah. Any books you'd recommend? Reborn, CNI. I don't know what that means. Books I'd recommend, yeah. The Creature from Jekyll Island, Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, Ponzinomics by Robert Fitzpatrick, The Richest Man in Babylon. Yeah. What up, Tretino? Reborn says, I went down the banking system rabbit hole in 2008. Scary stuff when you truly understand how our money system works. Yeah, it is. It is truly scary.
$5 trillion put into banks, and there's only about $10.8 billion set aside for FDIC. So if everybody pulled out.
What would your answer be then?
To?
Screw the people?
That's tricky, the way you asked that.
Yeah, I do like to screw people. I'm Tim Sales. I'm a scammer. But anyways, my point that I was saying with this was that it is also a myth and a sort of sleight of hand rebranding trick when they say that the government needs to bail out the banks, otherwise the people will suffer. No, when the government bails out the banks, the people suffer because printing more money just creates inflation, which is the hidden tax that you don't even have a choice on consenting to. Never mind real tax.
You think it's funny.
You have to have some protection when you're dealing with a massive amount of people who put something into something, don't you? I mean, we're
Yes.
a country to help each other. We are our brother's keeper.
Absolutely. And given a situation, in other words, if I had my finger on the panic
That's
switch
an
here,
unusual situation.
right,
obviously.
I would have to look across and say, all right, my choice is print out some money, get it out in terms of, make everybody pay taxes in order to pay it off down the road,
Right.
or we collapse this entire economy right now. Well, yeah, I would have to take the choice of saying, let's print more money, let's worry about it later, because we're in an emergency right now.
All right, let's go back to the normal of this business.
Okay, let's
What
please do that.
is the biggest danger this business faces image?
Is it the biggest
Yeah.
issue? It comes about because of a couple of true problems and several non-true problems.
I like how they've been touting this same bullshit since 2009, at least since 2009. I'm watching this video. Tim Sales being fake interviewed by Larry King at a USANA corporate event where Larry King is the keynote speaker, and presumably he's getting paid a handsome sum for it. Okay, he was an exceptionally famous person. He was in the later years of his life. I doubt he did this for free, okay? I don't know for certain, but I doubt he did this for free. I was in 7th grade when this came out, when this video happened. I was sitting there in 7th grade science class or whatever, learning about the fucking, I don't know, photosynthesis and shit, okay? And how to design a bridge. When Tim Sales was on stage with Larry King at a USANA event, before I knew what USANA was, before I knew what Tim Sales was, multi-level marketing was, before my best friend had been brainwashed by an MLM cult and destroyed our friendship. It's crazy how they're talking about image, because this is really before social media was a big thing, certainly before any prominent anti-MLM creators or movement. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. Also, by the way, I need to actually change this. I'm actually going to change this because this dono goal is boring. Even though we do need the money for that, let's make a more exciting dono goal. Let's make a dono goal that has some sort of payoff for the cult, okay? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the dono goal, and I'm going to do this. So you guys know that I have this video with Julie. It's right now, it's members only, okay? I wasn't going to drop it right away because I'm doing this stream right now, and I wanted that to this to be out there for a little bit. I don't want to hit people with a 2-hour-long stream and then an 1.5 long Julie interview. I feel like it might be too much. I know you guys like that, but I'll tell you what. If we hit... Okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay, here's what we'll do. I was going to leave it as members only at least for a couple more days. Okay? It's Wednesday now. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to do another stream. There's going to be reels and whatever that I'm posting in between now and then. And this Julie video is such a banger, 1.5 hour long in-person video with me and Julie. But I'll tell you what. I've updated the dono goal. If we fill just this dono goal, $100, 100 Canadian dollars, so really we're talking like $5 US or whatever the conversion is, I will release the video with Julie tomorrow. Publicly releasing it. Yes, excited for it. Excited for you guys to see it. Me and Julie got a chance to meet in person finally after a couple of years. And she came to Edmonton and we met and we filmed this interview. And I'm sorry it's taken me so long to drop it, but my life has been a roller coaster this past little bit. And it's finally done, finally ready to go. I'll show you guys I'll give you guys a sneak peek. How about that? I'll give you guys a sneak peek to get excited about for the intro of this video. Julie hasn't even seen this yet. So Julie, if you're watching, let me show you the intro I put together for this video too. Whoa, don't let me spoil it too much. Here, let's check this out. Ready?
Fell to my knees. I was out of breath. I'm like, holy fuck, like I can't even deal with this. I saw abuse as good coaching. I regret everything. If I could go back in time, I would not have joined.
It's like somebody saying, God has a plan. God wanted me to go through that.
Everything was a lie. The community was a lie. The Friendships were a lie. There's never going to be justice.
Just shut the fuck up at some point and be healed.
Woo! Oh. World Star. Yeah, I'm excited to drop this, y'all.
Have you ever
More than an hour long of
today?
Chat with Julie. This guy Ariel, the fact that this guy Ariel Bakshende has gone so insane just because I did one stream reacting to his. Hey, guess what, Ariel? I know now that you're watching everything. Quit talking shit, pussy boy. How about that? Quit talking shit. Quit talking shit, making fake videos using the oldest fucking trick in the book, calling somebody an anti-Semite. Guess what? It doesn't work anymore. The jig is so up when it comes to calling people racists, anti-Semite. It's so dead. It used to actually be something people should be worried about. Okay. No one cares. Literally nobody cares. Okay, let's continue on with this Larry King thing.
Or untrue problems. Okay, so yeah, it is an image issue.
The non-true problems are what? In other words, this is like, it's an image that's not true.
Correct. And so when the media, and I'm not specifically talking about you, but I'm talking about the media that do go out and print, people who do go out and make statements, they don't do enough research to be able to differentiate, and so they make a statement or they create an association. They'll say the name of a company, like a pyramid scheme, or it works like a pyramid where one gets another gets another. If they haven't been educated on the difference, then they'll associate it to a scam.
Again, they're just not educated enough. Listen, dude, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. If you have to explain to somebody why your thing is not a pyramid scheme, or if somebody, a lay person left to their own devices, would not be able to discern whether a company is a pyramid scheme or not without you propagandizing them, that's probably a red flag, right?
And that's not true. It's not fair.
But what does this company do? Well, it continues to be successful, and what it does. It takes the hit. When occasionally it mentions that this company is somewhat like the pyramid scheme, okay, it takes the hit and goes on, right? What else can it do?
Get smarter, get more educated, get better tools, get better explanations, explain it, show them law, show them case law where it's been proven. You know, there's a ton of companies publicly traded, right? So obviously it's legal. Senator Hatch oversees this state. He's not going to allow all these schemes to be in Utah if it's illegal.
Again, well, the legal system has never been wrong about anything. The legal system has never been corrupted by anyone with money or power or anything like that, right? Oh, the Senator Hatch, he's not going to allow Utah to be... Right, because politicians have never made the wrong decision or been outright corrupt or taken political donations or lobbying money or done favors for friends. No, never. Because every law that's ever been put into place was always perfect, right? When slavery was legal... Oh, well, it's legal, right? Okay. Remember how with slavery they had a bunch of different explanations and education too, right? Like eugenics. Oh, well, people of color have a different IQ. What was the thing they used to say about like in chattel slavery in the United States? 3/5. They used to say that people of color or African American people were 3/5 of a human. I mean, that was their information. That was their education that they used to justify evil. Again, if you're telling the truth, you don't need to have a good memory. If you're telling the truth, you don't need to drone on and on. It's almost like, have you ever debated with somebody who's in a different religion than you online? Or if you're an atheist and you debated with a religious person, you notice how religious people, when they're arguing, they have to like... They have to write long... It's just like with MLM. Don't even let me use religion here for a second. With MLM people, if you explain something like, oh, it's an endless chain, that's why it's a scam. Simple. It's an endless chain. It can't go on forever. You recruit 5 who recruit 5. That can only go on 13 times. It's an endless chain. It's a Ponzi. It's a pyramid. It's a scam. It's fraud. What do they say? Oh, well, actually, this company, they go on and on and on. This company's been around since the 80s, and actually there was a lawsuit, but it turned out that the government said this and that, and they wouldn't have been around so long if it was a scam. It's just amazing. Oh, well, did you know that in the Bible, actually, we found geological evidence of the Bible, and that in the Bible it says this, and this actually did happen? It's like, okay, all right. Oh, okay.
Illegal, right? So it must be legitimate.
It's legal, so it must be legitimate. Flawless logic, Tim Sales.
Because the product is legit. It must be frustrating then to be in the business. No, I'm saying seriously, to be in the business and see something printed like that. You know, like a pyramid.
You just made me the happiest man in the world because you finally can see what I've experienced because I know it's legitimate, right? There's no doubt in my mind.
How does a weak economy affect this business, MLM?
It actually bolsters it, yeah.
It bolsters it. Remember what Nathan said in my video in 2020 about ACN. My business booms in the down economy. Nathan was also Jewish, but that's an aside.
Wait a minute, we're applauding a weak economy?
We are.
His little Joker laugh. What up, Marco DeLeon?
More people out of work. Yes.
It's almost like Larry knows, and he's sort of like mocking Tim Sales here. Because Tim Sales, let me guess what his explanation is going to be for why he's cheering on a weak economy. Because it empowers people to become entrepreneurs. That's what I'm guessing he's going to say.
Recession. Yahoo. Explain that.
All right, I will. This
better be good.
This is an Associated Press survey. The average CEO in 2006 made $10 million a year. The average worker for those companies made $29,000 a year. Okay? So during a bad economy, they lay off these workers, right? That's forced entrepreneurship oftentimes.
I fucking called it. I'm so smart. Not even smart. I'm just so well read and so well versed in this topic of MLM. I just know what they're going to say before they say it. I'm 29 now. Tim Sales in this video is surely older than 29, and this video came out in 2009. I was 13 when this came out, and Tim was easily triple my age in this video. Fast forward now, I'm 29. He's how old? 100 years old. It's just amazing. It's just amazing how if you watch and study this stuff long enough, you know it before they even say it. And the only time I'm ever surprised by what they say is when they say something that's so out of this world nonsensical that it actually boggles my mind because I gave them more benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't say something so stupid, like when Febby from World Financial Group said it's ice cream, it will melt, during our debate when I was asking him about, when I was trying to explain basic supply and demand economics to him, and I said that if you had an ice cream truck, don't you realize how it would hurt your business if 5 other ice cream trucks popped up in the neighborhood, trying to draw a comparison between that and the nonsense of MLM, who is set on recruiting their own competition in an endless chain? And his answer was, it's ice cream, it will melt. So, yeah.
Meaning that now the person says, well, what else am I going to do? If I go down and put in my resume at this company, there's 15 other guys sitting right.
He calls it forced entrepreneurship. I call it taking advantage of people who are out of work and desperate. Once again, I never see anyone join an MLM at a time in their life when things are going great. It's always in a situation like this, which is why he says when there's a recession or when the economy is bad, it bolsters our industry. Think about that. Everybody knows that that's nonsense on its face. When people have less money, people spend less money, there's less money circulating through the economy, and that's bad. We all know that. But in this upside-down, fantastical unicorn fairyland world of multi-level marketing, which is not in our reality, it's an alternate reality that you have to astral project your mind to through being brainwashed, is how you get there and have it make sense to you that 2 + 2 is 5. In their world, this is forced entrepreneurship, and actually it's a good thing.
Right in front of me. How do I get a job? And so they become a little more focused. They become a little more resourceful. And then they want to own their own business.
And that's all these people are in business for.
Every one of them, they're all in business for themselves.
Yeah, they're all in business for themselves. What another load of fucking shit. All these people who are there could be terminated. They could be terminated. You're not in business for yourself if someone can fire you. Simple as.
is the guy at the top who started it still making more disproportionately than them?
You mean like that?
Yeah, like that.
Or like that? Each level earns less in a corporation? All right. Let me explain the way it works in this industry. If I'm on the top, as you called it, how did I get there?
You started it.
Did I start it?
Well, I assume you started
Okay,
it.
I started a company that was 5 years old. I started in a company that was 5 years old, right? Okay. I step in. I've got no one beneath me, as you're calling it. I'm not at the top of anything. I'm at the bottom of something, right? Well, how did I get on top of anything? I had to build it.
Okay, so he's doing something here called semantic shifting, or just semantics, if you will. He's changing the premise of the question. The question was very simple. Is the person on top still making all of the money? And in this case, yes, of course, the person on top of USANA is the one making a disproportionate amount of money. There's not one single distributor who is making more in an MLM as a distributor than the CEO of that MLM. Period. There's not one. Okay? If that was the case, if that was even possible, the company would go out of business because how are you going to pay, how can you afford to pay distributors more than you pay the actual CEO? So, but what Tim here does is he uses semantics to shift it away from talking about the CEO. You know, it's so funny. These people, he's talking about forced entrepreneurship, and all these people are in business for themselves. How do you explain then, Tim Sales, that USANA, Amway, Herbalife, you name it, they all have actual salaried employees. They have a corporate office where people work corporate jobs. They have corporate accountants. They have corporate legal people. They have, staff attorneys and whatever. How do you explain that? Those people have actual jobs. Those people aren't distributors for the MLM. And those people are actually making guaranteed money. And the CEO is making guaranteed money. So, and of course, it goes without saying, you'll never recruit your way to the CEO position. They might give you a fancy sounding rank name called CEO something, CEO marketing director, CEO ultra mega diamond gold star businessman, but you're not actually the CEO. So he's lying once again.
Every business owner in this country had to build what's
Correct.
below them. All right. So now,
False equivalence.
here's something ironic, and I hope you hear it.
What up, Bam? What up, Tretino? Thank you. Tretino likes how I look in 4K.
And that is that there's someone on my third level, 3 levels below me, who makes more money than me.
That's true,
That's completely true.
because there's no auto worker making more than the head of GM.
Yes. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And one of the fallacies of that is that the auto worker, while he shouldn't make more, but deserves a better piece of the pie.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Because of what they do, right?
Correct.
And
They
it's
build the
same
car.
here. Yeah. Well, the same here. And that is that let me explain this to you a little bit so that you can think it, because you said, is that true?
I think the fact that Tim has pre-prepared notes and graphics and whatever shows that this is like at least partially a scripted interaction they're having, right?
And I'll tell
Like Tim is using this. He's basically using Larry as a stand-in to just say his lines and make it look like they're having an interview on the Larry King show. They even put plants there to make it look like it's like the Larry King live set, basically, or a set of some kind. And then he has these pre-established topics that he wants to discuss so that he can eschew his own propaganda points.
you this. I probably have worked closely with 200 companies, and I have never seen one where the first person to join the company is making the most money in the company.
Really?
Really, not a one.
That's because it's not about who's in first. It's about who recruits the most. I've said before, the only way to beat the impossible mathematical odds of MLM is to be willing to lie and cheat and deceive more than the next man, which is why when you look at the top brass of any MLM distributorship, in my opinion, you see people who exhibit characteristics of psychopaths or sociopaths. They harm people, they lie, they scam, they cheat, they're violent, they're abusive, they're sexually abusive, they manipulate people, they're in many cases physically violent. Look at I Am Academy. Austin Gotze in jail, domestic violence. Cash Cartier in jail, murdering his girlfriend. You know, a lot of these people I've had privately, people reach out to me telling me anonymously, yeah, this guy who's at the top of this MLM, he sexually abused such and such. MLM is legal crime, and it attracts psychopaths and sociopaths like moths to a flame. And if you're interested in reading about how to identify psychopaths and sociopaths and what they have in common, there's a great book called Without Conscience by Robert D. Hare, Hare, and excellent book, Without Conscience. Check it out. Plain Decoded in the chat says, I joined MLM when I was doing well, and I've been out since 2017, and it still has affected my current state. He compares his pyramid to a corporate pyramid, then calls it not a pyramid. Exactly. This is the which is it thing, They say, we're not a pyramid. Actually, the corporation, that's a pyramid. You've got the CEO on top, so isn't everything a pyramid? But then they'll also deny, tooth and nail, oh, we're not a pyramid. Those are illegal. So which is it? Are they illegal, and that's why you're not one? Or is everything a pyramid, and that's why you are one, and it's fine?
Is it true here? Absolutely. The first person isn't making the most money.
What you're saying is there could be a new distributor found today who 2 years from today can make more than anybody in this place.
That's exactly right.
And this is the false hope that they instill people with to get them in and hook them in and deceive them. Because while it is technically true, it's so implausible that, most people will end up losing money by virtue of the design of the system. And this is sort of that's the cheese, Well, you could come in here and 2 years from now be making more than me. And look, I'm on stage and I've got this and I've got that. That's the cheese. And everybody else are just mice, because in almost every single case, it's not true or possible.
So, obviously, when you explain it that way,
Yeah.
it's legit.
It is legit.
If I want to work harder,
Yeah.
I can do better.
Another lie. It's all about you. This is actually, they frame this as like a positive motivational thing. If you just work harder, you can do better. This is the American dream. Everybody likes that idea. It sounds great. But it's really just a euphemistic way of saying what they're really trying to say, which is that if you fail, it's your fault. The reverse implication of if you work harder, you can do better is if you don't do better, it's your fault. You didn't work hard enough.
And let me tell you why.
It's what I put into it.
That's exactly right. Let me tell you why. Because and there's two different compensations, and I don't want you to get confused by it, so I'm going to make it real simple. You get paid on a number of levels or of sides, okay? And so the company is basically going to say to you is that we give you a certain area, and if you build more volume, meaning sell more products, inside that area, you'll make more money than the person that brought you in. So everyone gets the fair shot.
I got it. Well put. The most important thing still, though, is the product better be good, right?
You betcha.
Sorry, Larry, you're incorrect. Rest in peace. But the product is a complete irrelevance. It's just window dressing. The product is just a means of laundering the money that is paid for recruiting. That's it. The product is the laundromat or the Chinese restaurant that secretly houses a meth lab in the basement.
Because a sharp distributor, a sharp salesman, as we all know, can sell an inferior product through their own ability.
That's right.
The product has to be good.
That's
right.
right.
You don't get repeat sales.
But the problem is that this room is not filled full of slick salespeople.
Yeah, do you have to be a good salesman?
Yeah, they're not slick salespeople. What they are is they're real people. They're like me and you, and they have a good experience with a product, and they want to go share it. And so they share it with someone. They're not slick salespeople here. And so a really good MLM company has a product that causes a person to say, I want to continue to take this. And when that occurs, you get that repeat business.
How do you choose an MLM company?
What I look for in a company, number one, is the company going long term? That's the first question I ask, okay? Now, what I don't do is I have to look at that first. I don't care. I don't want to be in the ground floor, as a lot of the pitch people say, because I want to make sure the company's going long term. Because if I'm going to show this to friends and family, I don't want them hurt. I don't want them, looking bad. So that's number one. Is the company going long term? Number two is, does the product sell outside the network? All right, you got to understand this one, okay? If this is a Christmas tree, and inside of here is people building, they're moving their volume, selling products, things like that. If the business doesn't sell products outside of the business, meaning to a legitimate customer, then the FTC deems that a pyramid scheme.
The fact that there could even be a company that operates like that with this internal consumption, the fact that there could even be a company in your industry that does this, doesn't that kind of also tell you everything?
In other words, they will ask the question, why is the distributor ordering the product? And if it is to hold a position inside of the business, then that they will deem a pyramid scheme.
Well, that's every MLM. Every single MLM I've ever looked at has a purchase quota, PV, in order to stay active, personal volume or purchase volume. And your team, your downline, has their own. And totaled, that equates to your TV or GV or OV, organization volume, team volume, group volume, however they decide to label it. And all of it has to do with how much you get paid based on what you're buying and what the people below you are buying. But they don't call it buying, they call it selling. So again, to get away with evil, to get away with an act of evil, you have to call it the opposite. It's not enough to say that you're not scamming people. You have to rebrand it as the opposite. You have to say, we're providing people the greatest income opportunity ever. Well, the greatest income opportunity ever is on the way opposite end of the spectrum from a scam. So they do this as a tactic because it forces the layperson, or rather it nudges the layperson who doesn't know one way or another into a middle ground fallacy where they end up thinking, okay, well, let me try to use my discernment. Somebody over here says it's the biggest financial fraud in history. Someone over here says it's the greatest income opportunity ever. How am I supposed to make my mind? And they end up deciding, well, maybe it's not so great, maybe it's not so bad. Some people had good experience, some people had bad experiences. That determination is actually only a benefit to the scammers. The scammers walk away from that looking better than they actually are. That's the problem. Think of a country who might, hypothetically, I'm just making up a hypothetical, this isn't about any country, a country that's committing genocide, killing kids, shooting kids in the skull and in the genitals, and doing the absolute worst things you could ever imagine to another human being. It never happened. And if it did happen, it wasn't a big, what's the narcissist's prayer? That never happened. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it is, it's not a big deal. And if it was, it wasn't my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. It's not enough to say, oh, we're not committing genocide. You have to say it's the opposite. Actually, we're defending ourselves against terrorism. Everybody wants to defend themselves against terrorism. So if that's all you're doing, no problem, right? You have to call it the opposite of what it is. I think the most honest thing that I've seen Trump do is re-rebrand the Department of Defense to the Department of War. It used to be called the Department of War long, long ago. And then it was rebranded to the Department of Defense. And then Trump changed it back to the Department of War. Well, kudos to him, because that's actually what it is, isn't it? It was never about defense. Who are we defending from? It was about waging war, destabilizing other countries, making countries adopt the United States currency as their reserve currency so that you maintain the global hegemony over the financial system, and having the most powerful military and having military bases all around the world when no other country can do that except you. It is war. You are waging war. So, again, it's all evil people who have an evil agenda all use the same tactics. They call the thing they're doing the opposite of what it is, and they accuse, every accusation is a confession. They accuse the people who exposing them of doing what they are doing. Look at Always Marco. Has been sued several times. What has he been sued for? Well, various things, but among them is Marco says lies online about us to make money. That itself is a lie designed to protect them making money. That's what they do. If you've ever known anyone in MLM or watched any video about MLMs, you'll know that people going on social media lying to make money is the whole thing. That's what they all do. That's what all the distributors do. Oh, do you want to make a side income? Do you want to make $10,000 a month working from home and having? They lie to make money. But what do they accuse me of? Lying with my videos, exposing they're scamming to make money. Well, I wouldn't even be making the videos if they weren't scamming in the first place. So how do you figure that? You know?
Okay, so the product has to sell outside the network, meaning does somebody who doesn't want anything to do with the business, will they want the product? And if the answer to that is yes, then that checks off point number 2 of my criteria. Number 3.
Yeah, Burger Baron in the chat, reminding me of another MLM-ism. We're not brainwashing, we're washing your brain. Sometimes people need their brains washed because they're filthy and they're full of nonsense.
I want to be compensated well for my efforts, all right? Some companies, they create like religious overtones, they create different things to try to retain people because the amount of money that's actually being paid out to the distributors is so small that they do other things to try to retain them. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be paid well for my efforts, all right?
Gotcha.
Okay, so that is, and then the final one, and this is the order, the sequence that I recommended, is whether or not there's good training. And there's only one test of good training, and that is that after the training, can the person do it? That's the only test of training. And I learned that in the bomb squad. If we defused a bomb and the guy didn't come back, we would say, hey, let's find out what he did. We don't want to do that, right?
Good test.
Yeah, we're smart, you know?
It's obvious in meeting you, and this is obvious, we've got a few more things to ask. You love MLM. I mean, you love it. Why?
I always had this intrigue by how people could have so much. And so with that, I had one problem, and that is who would teach me? Who was out there to teach me? And so when I got into MLM, there was someone who took an interest. And then I was able to go to like a convention like this, and I would go up and I would ask somebody, and then they would give me some advice. So there was someone to teach me. I went from making about $2,000 a month, less than $2,000, to $150,000 a month. You really want to know why I love MLM? It's because it makes people open up and be more responsible to society. I've now donated more. I've now helped more organizations.
Is that why you do what you do now?
Yes.
Because you don't have to do this now, right?
That's right. Yeah, I want to be the ambassador that like there's not a public relations firm, right? Do you realize that this industry operates out there, and there's not a public relations firm that's going to help?
There is the Direct Selling Association, the DSEF, the Direct Selling Advisory, Advocacy Advisory. There's a whole apparatus of there's a whole apparatus of PR. Maybe there wasn't at this time. I think DSA is a bit newer than this, but okay.
Because we're all the public relations firm.
Yeah.
And so I have to get in and train each person and help that person understand that they can't make product claims, that they can't make income claims.
After he just said he went from making $2,000 a month to $150,000 a month. What's the saying about a liar's tongue will betray him or something like that? Isn't there a quote like that? I'm so full of quotes. A liar's tongue betrays. There's a liar's tongue betrays. Okay, that's the whole quote actually. Is a metaphorical phrase meaning a liar's own words will ultimately reveal their deception, either through inconsistencies, slip-ups, or other signs. Bars.
Thanks, Marco.
Bars, to be honest. A liar's tongue betrays.
That they've got to be first class. They've got to be professional. And if they do, we are the greatest public relations group in the world. So that's what
I've had a lot of fun here this morning.
Thank you, me too.
I've enjoyed answering these questions, and great working with you, and I know you want me to do a little more, so what do you want to say?
All right.
Thank you.
And I know you want me to do a little more, so what do you want to say? It's like, he's really working for that check. Crazy. Here's a video. This is from a YouTube channel called USANA Happy Sales. I searched Tim Sales USANA, and here he is explaining brilliant compensation. I just want to watch a minute of this.
It's Tim Sales. I'd like to first say that you're not going to see glitz here, so please don't expect it. I'm not an entertainer nor an actor. I've created this video as a tool designed to educate people about a business concept that works, for people who are willing to put 100% of themselves into something. See, it takes 200% to be successful in business. 100% must come from you. 100% must come from the business vehicle that you've chosen. Business vehicle meaning how you earn your living, how you support your family. I've seen people who relentlessly pour 100% of themselves into a business vehicle, profession, or job, but that vehicle doesn't have the capability to give back 100%. The mechanics of wealth are just not there. But no one has ever fully explained to you why it doesn't work and why it's a waste of your valuable time if your goal is financial success. This video is for the person who is willing to put in their 100%. They're only lacking the right business vehicle, the explanation of why it's right, and the evidence that it does in fact work. Even though I say you must put in 100%, that doesn't mean that you have to work it full time. I didn't. That doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your family time, nor does it mean you have to have prior experience. I didn't. What you'll learn right here has allowed me to build a $25 million company. Now, a $25 million company has certainly been done before. However, this was done where
I like how he started this by saying you're not going to see any glitz here. And now is already within a minute and a half talking about $25 million companies.
no employees were required. No accounts receivable, no accounts payable, no overhead, and very little inventory. Recently, I said those words to a business owner who said back to me, "Sounds too good to be true." My response back to him was, "Is that a good enough reason to stop looking?" He paused for a couple of seconds and he said, "That wouldn't be very smart, would it?" What I suggest you do is not just watch this information, but study it. What I want to do first is create an equal playing field between people who know how to evaluate a business and those who don't. Because me explaining this business wouldn't be very effective until you understand how to place value to a business. The simplest thing for someone to do when they don't understand something is to go, it doesn't work.
Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy all the way. All right, let's see. I'm so curious. My ego is waiting to see what's it called? Revolutionary Thinking posted about me. Also, maybe I can show you guys the privacy complaint if I didn't delete the email from YouTube. Privacy. Here it is. October 1st. Here it is. Privacy complaint, YouTube support team. We would like to inform you we received a privacy concern about your content. Before we review the content, we would like to give you an opportunity to review and, if necessary, modify it. Receiving this is not a violation, blah, blah, blah. Please find below the list of the reported content with video timestamps. So when you make a privacy complaint on someone's YouTube video, you put in the timestamps that are infringing upon your right to privacy so that YouTube can investigate and take it down. And here's what it said. Here's the link to the video, and the information reported as violating privacy is from 1:43:05 to 1:43:20, so only 15 seconds. Shall we look and see what those 15 seconds contain so that we can ascertain who made the privacy complaint? Let's go to 1:43:05 in this video. Let's see, and here it is, 1:43. We'll play it from here. Hey, exactly the moment that I pull up his Facebook is when the privacy complaint starts. This you? Hey, Revolutionary Thinking, holding the hammer of truth. Is this you? Gotcha. Where's the Kanye gotcha sound effect here? I have it somewhere. Anyways, fuck it. You get the point. It's too late now. I took too long to find it.
Gotcha.
There. Okay, let's see. He posted a bunch of new videos about me. Let's see. We're not ethnically cleansing. We're just cleaning ethnicities hypothetically. Yeah. No honesty among schemes. There's never a Luigi of MLM. Yeah, maybe there will be. Okay, Revolutionary Thinking. I refuse to be your content. Well, here you are being my content. Let's see.
All right, let's start with...
Oh, now he's using a girl voice. Is this about me? It's a bunch of AI slop.
one single, powerful refusal. I refuse to be your content. It's like a declaration of independence in a world that desperately wants to turn your entire life into data, into a product.
Okay, remember this account, these videos are being produced by this guy, Ariel Bakshande, who's a literal Zionist, a literal Israeli Zionist. So, and, you know, commented he was a big fan of my videos and I should just stick to talking about MLMs because apparently, I was wrong about Israel. Okay, Revolutionary Thinking. What's the next one? Always Marco Field Research. The description says, AKA the one who doesn't get sarcasm or parody. I also forgot to add the soundboard dependency, inability to read video descriptions, and lack of understanding satire. Okay, so Now I'm guessing he's going to go into this video saying that his previous video, calling me an anti-Semite and saying that I'm an unreliable journalist because I talked about Israel, I'm guessing now he's going to try to backpedal. Since I exposed him so thoroughly, I think he's going to try to backpedal now and say that actually he was just joking. And in that previous stream I did, called Big Pyramid is so desperate they resorted to slander, I go through our comment exchange where he tries to immediately play the victim, surprise, by saying that I'm a bigger creator punching down. Never mind the fact that I don't care how many subscribers you have. You made a video lying about me. You made a video lying about me, another human being. So fuck you. I don't care how many. I don't care if you have 0 subscribers or 1 million. You publicly published something about me, and you took it upon yourself to insert yourself into my life and brought this upon yourself. Now I'm sounding like Israel. You brought this upon yourself when I was just talking about your prime minister and your government. I wasn't even talking about you personally. You took it upon yourself to wage war with me on the internet and make slanderous fake videos about me. And rather than sue, because I don't like to frivolously sue people, I believe in the best argument winning and the court of public opinion. And so that's what I did. I just reacted to your publicly published video exposing you for who you are and giving my thoughts on it and letting people make up their own mind. And after I did that, you went back and forth trying to backpedal and play the victim and say that it was immature of me to whatever you said in that comment exchange. I have to go look at the screenshots again. And then when that video stayed up, you tried to make a privacy complaint about it once I stopped responding to you. And now here we are publishing new videos. So it's like, all right, let's check it out.
Today, we're diving into some pretty fascinating new field research, a behavioral study into a unique creature that's absolutely thriving in the digital wilderness.
Oh, yeah. Let me play the Netanyahu. Marco, don't do this.
Hey, Marco, don't do this.
I'm doing it, Benny.
Our subject, the always Marco.
So let's just start with
The always Marco, okay.
this key observation right here. Its natural habitat isn't some jungle or savanna. No, it's the YouTube algorithm. And that totally reframes our...
Oh, I see. He's doing this sort of National Geographic thing where he's referring to always Marco as a type of animal, saying the always Marco. Huh. An Israeli dehumanizing someone else for the purpose of attacking them? Huh.
perspective, right? We're not just watching a creator, we're observing a specimen that has perfectly adapted to survive in its digital environment.
So what exactly is an always Marco? Well, the field notes define it as a new archetype of creator, a species that has become, and I'm quoting here, insufferably common. So let's get into the telltale.
Who are you quoting? Yourself? Field research. Mind you, it's one guy making this video. Oh, the always Marco is a creature that the field research says, and I'm quoting, you're insane. You're quoting yourself.
Signs. You can identify one in the wild.
The initial identification really relies on two key markers. First up, it's plumage. Think of those super bright, colorful, attention-grabbing thumbnails. And second, its distinct call. You can't miss it. It's this repetitive, almost ritualistic cry of scammer alert, which is, of course, designed to attract a whole flock of viewers. Okay, so now that we know how to spot one, it's time to really dissect its anatomy, because if we want to understand its survival strategies, we've got to understand its core traits. So beyond the flashy thumbnails and the catchphrase, the study points to two really critical traits. First, its diet. Outrage regurgitated for content. What that means is it doesn't really hunt for original ideas, it just feeds on drama that's already out there. And second, its nest, an echo chamber of scavenged schemes, which suggests its entire platform is built by reacting to what other people are doing. And what happens when it gets challenged? Well, the field notes describe this fascinating defense mechanism. Instead of, engaging with any kind of criticism or complexity, it just puffs up its ego, gets super defensive, and fires off a volley of sarcastic remarks. The goal isn't to win an argument, it's just to create this big cloud of confusion that drives off any real debate.
Every accusation is a confession.
But like any species trying to survive, the always Marco is evolving. The study has observed this really significant shift in its behavior, moving away from one form of content to a totally different one.
I.e., not talking about MLM brainwashing, but drawing parallels between that and Israeli brainwashing, which, I mean, if the result of this video even existing is any indication that what I said is 100% true, that these people are radicalized and will go to any lengths to espouse propaganda to defend their lies. I mean, everything they say and don't say proves my point,
And we're not talking about a small change here. This is a fundamental transformation in its hunting and feeding habits.
And by the way, I didn't switch my channel from talking about scams to talking about Israel. I made one video. I did one stream, which I then cut into a shorter single video, drawing parallels between scammer language tactics and Israel's language tactics. That's what I did. And it wasn't like even an aside. It was a video where a literal multi-level marketing scammer, PBD, was interviewing the Prime Minister of Israel.
This evolution really shows up in two distinct forms. The species used to be a short burst scavenger.
Okay, here he's describing, I used to be focused on prey with digestible, neatly edited 15-minute videos, and now I'm focused on myself with sprawling 4-hour streams and monologues and donation reading. Just objectively untrue. I wish you would have done more research. Am I insane for getting disappointed when the takedown video of me isn't good enough? Like, I want it. Like, I'm sitting here waiting for the juicy expose. Like, I'm watching this blind on a live stream, reacting to it, being like, I wonder what he's gonna say. Like, I want to learn some exciting shit. I want to see the scandal, and but this is just objectively not true. I've been doing 4-hour live streams and longer since 2019. So sometimes 3 times a week. So okay.
Creating these concise, neatly edited videos that were focused on its prey. But now it's become a long-form rambler. The focus shifts completely inward, turning what was once a 15-minute expose into a 4-hour monologue of tangents and donation readings.
It's actually the opposite. Again, if you want to justify what you're doing, call it the opposite of what it is. Actually, I do the opposite. I do long live streams and I cut them down into shorter videos and release those as videos.
The content isn't really about the topic anymore. It's all about the creator. And if you break down a typical 4-hour live stream, you can see just how dramatic this shift is. A whopping 50% is dedicated to self-aggrandizement.
I love this. The little pie chart breaking down the average Always Marco stream. I mean, all these numbers are completely true.
Then you add in the unrelated monologues and reading donations, and you're left with just 5% of the entire stream being spent on the actual topic.
Guys, do not, no matter what you do not click the Streamlabs link in the chat and donate. Oh, sorry, I kicked the camera. Do not donate in the chat using the Streamlabs link, because we do not want to waste time in this live stream, which has already been going for 1 hour and 42 minutes. We do not want to waste time reading donations, okay? God forbid I get another hit piece made about me, exposing me because I spend so much time reading donations, okay? So don't, guys. Don't donate, okay?
5%. The hunt has basically just become a backdrop for the hunter's performance. Of course, this behavior doesn't just happen in a vacuum. The Always Marco exists inside a complex ecosystem, and its survival depends on a very specific, symbiotic relationship with the very creatures it claims to be hunting. This is what the researchers...
You know what? We were due for a new character in the Always Marco verse, and Ariel Bakshande, I thought it was a one and done. You're in. Congratulations, you've made it.
...are calling the symbiotic dance, and it's a perfect loop.
Wait, who's calling it that?
...aims to be hunting. This is what the researchers are calling
the researchers!
symbiotic dance, and it's a perfect loop. A scammer shows up providing the food source, the Always Marco pounces, creating content that feeds on the drama. This amplifies both of them, giving them relevance and views. And for the Always Marco to survive, it needs the next scammer to appear.
Yeah, true. Plain decoded says, even if you were doing what he was accusing you of, that would be fine. Right? Like, who cares? Who cares? Oh no, he talked for 4 hours and most of it was about himself. Okay, and I could do whatever the fuck I want on my YouTube channel. How about that? You know what, just to spite him, I'm going to do a 10-hour stream not talking about any MLM whatsoever or any scams. I'm just going to talk about my life.
Literally can't exist without the other. So if the creator and the scammer are both benefiting from this little dance, it raises a really critical question about the ecosystem itself. What is the true cost of all this watch time, and who is really paying it?
Oh no, guys, stop, guys.
Chris
no.
donated 14 Canadian dollars and 3 cents.
Chris, how
I'm
could
doing
you?
my part.
No, Chris, you're gonna get me in trouble, Chris. I'm gonna get exposed for spending too much time reading donations. And Chris's donation says, I'm doing my part. Chris, how could you do this, Chris? I can't believe you've done this, Chris. I can't believe you've done, Chris. Yeah, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I gotta really make sure I don't take too much time reading that donation because as I'm learning the hard way, I'm getting exposed. I'm getting exposed for this exact thing. So please stop, guys. Please, come on, be reasonable.
This brings us to the study's powerful conclusion about the audience. Viewers might believe they're consuming some kind of digital justice, but the research suggests they're actually just consuming the creator's ego, their tangents, their rambling metabolism. In this ecosystem, they aren't watching a hunt. They're the ones feeding the hunter. Which leaves us with this final
so fucking gay.
thought-provoking question. In an ecosystem where the commentary on the event becomes bigger than the event itself, where the hunter's performance completely overshadows the hunt, who is the real product?
It's you. He's It's like how Scott and Peter are like, his fans. He's scamming his fans.
Who is truly being consumed?
Ooh, got him. So fucking stupid. You know, I thought there were people that like to watch my streams for my personality and not just for the MLM stuff. Okay, let's see. What was the next one? Always Marco field research. To hell with digital asylum. Is this also about me? No, this is about some other one. Let's see. No, Burger Baron. Oh, I can't read that. Shh. Can't read that out loud. Can't read that out loud. Okay, here we go. Here's a new one called Always Marco finally saves Gaza, or at least he thinks he did. Goons that went gooning in the wrong place. Uh-oh. I already know this one is going to be some fucking... This one's going to expose him for being a vile Zionist, but let's check it out.
Okay, so have you ever seen something online and thought, what if this got a little too real? Well, today we're breaking down a really strange, darkly funny story that's been making the rounds. It's a satire, but it gets at this bizarre, almost unbelievable intersection between influencer activism and the actual harsh reality of an armed conflict. And really, the whole thing just boils down to one simple question.
Guys, you are about to witness Zionist propaganda. If you have never witnessed it before, buckle your seatbelts, because boy, oh boy, is it fun.
What actually happens when online activism, with all its inside jokes and weird subcultures, slams right into the brutal, messy reality of an offline conflict? Let's dive in. So our story kicks off with a very modern kind of main character, an influencer who goes by Always Marco. He and his crew decide they're going to go on what the story calls the ultimate liberation vacation. Their goal, at least on the surface, is to show solidarity. And where are they headed for this unique brand of tourism? Gaza. Right away, by setting the story in a very real and complicated place, the whole narrative is just set up for a massive culture clash. And you can tell the story has a sharp, critical tone from the get-go. It sarcastically calls their destination the Hamas Disneyland. So right there, it's framing their trip not as some serious mission, but more like a visit to a political theme park.
Did I even say this? Like, I don't even know. Did I even say that?
Totally detached from what's actually happening. So, the group gets there, and just like you'd expect from that whole
oh, this is hypothetical. Okay.
Disneyland comment, they don't see the conflict for what it is at all. Nope, they see it as this cool, edgy backdrop for their own personal adventure. The story really paints a picture of just how disconnected they are. It says they see rockets lined up not as deadly weapons, but as pretty Christmas decorations. And the armed militants? They're not soldiers in a war, they're catwalk models. It just shows this deep, deep romanticization and a complete failure to understand where they actually are. And then Always Marco drops the line that sums up their entire worldview. Boys, this is it. This is paradise. And he follows that up with a call to action that sends this story into truly weird territory. Let's go gooning.
Oh my God, I wish I made this. I swear some of you guys at home are watching this thinking I must have made this because it's so stupid that like I must have created this as a means of like having something funny to react to, because that is how stupid this is. Okay, I know for sure. Now I know for sure that I never said the Hamas Disneyland thing, and I know because I know for sure I never said, boys, this is it. This is paradise. Let's go gooning. Well, now I've said it because I read it here. Wow. I can't wait. I love this. Ariel, please keep making these.
And this brings us to the very heart of the story, what they actually plan to do to show support. It's this ritual that they think is some powerful form of protest, but it's completely alien to the culture and the place they just walked into. Okay, so we have to be really clear about what gooning means, specifically in this story. In this narrative, it's defined as the public act of sexual self-stimulation. And this is presented as their unironic, chosen method of political protest. Yeah. And where do they decide is the perfect spot for this ritual? According to the story, it's right next to a pile of rocket launchers. I mean, the contrast is intentionally shocking. It's designed to show just how absurd and disrespectful their whole act is. As they're doing this, the story says they have a chant, and it perfectly captures their entire philosophy. Down with Zionists, up with dopamine. It's this wild mix of a political slogan and a shout-out to personal chemical pleasure. It kind of suggests they're...
Oh no, guys, stop this. Bam says goon, 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 goon. Thank you, Bam. But Bam, I'm wasting too much time reading donos, Bam. Don't you know?
I take responsibility.
I'm spending too much time. Come on, dude. They, his crew. Hello, WTF. No way you could have wrote this. You're not that funny, right? Always stupid, Marco. This is hilarious, dude.
Activism is just as much about their own gratification as it is about any
Thank you, though, Bam.
cause. Now, as you can...
Guys, let's just get it. Let's just get the last $87.97 that we need and drop this fucking Julie vid tomorrow. It's a banger.
probably guess this whole performance does not go unnoticed. The story builds to its climax right here. A sudden, harsh confrontation where their online idea of solidarity meets a very unamused offline reality. So picture this. The story says they're completely in the zone, totally absorbed in what they're doing, halfway through their session when their entire world gets flipped upside down. And that's the moment Hamas militants, the very people they claim they're there to support, storm in. And their reaction, according to the story, is just pure, unadulterated disgust. What is this degeneracy? And the result is swift and just perfectly ironic. They get arrested, not by their enemies, but by the people they thought were their allies.
What's even the point of this, like, fairy tale? Always Marco and his friends and his band of ragtag misfits go to Gaza to jerk off. They're gooning in Gaza, the Gaza goons, and then Hamas captures them. Okay, what's going to happen next?
The story just hammers home this tragicomic twist.
You can literally tell this guy, like, typed in his chat GPT or whatever, write me a short story script about YouTuber Always Marco going to Gaza, jerking off, and getting arrested by Hamas.
Their ultimate gesture of solidarity got them thrown in cuffs by the very group they admired. The end of the story is what really brings the whole point home. It highlights this massive, uncrossable gap in ideology between these online supporters and the actual real-world militants. And this final exchange just says it all. As he's getting arrested, Marco is pleading, "Wait, we're on your side. We're allies. We came here to goon in solidarity." You can tell he just can't wrap his head around the reaction. But the response from the Hamas militant is just cold and final. Immorality is immorality. For them, it's simple. The act itself is a violation of their values, and the intention doesn't matter one bit.
Okay.
So let's just recap this whole wild ride. It's basically a 4-act tragedy, or comedy, depending on how you look at it. It starts with a naive plan for a liberation vacation. Then comes the delusional arrival in paradise. That leads to the climax, their bizarre act of solidarity. And it all ends, almost inevitably, with their arrest by the very people they thought they were fighting for. In the end, this whole fable uses a completely absurd, over-the-top scenario to ask a pretty sharp question. It really forces you to think about the huge disconnect that can exist between performing solidarity online and the complex, messy realities on the ground. More than anything, it's a cautionary tale about the dangers of projecting your own culture and your own values onto somebody else's fight.
Okay, so is the point of this story that, like, if I really knew the realities of what was going on the ground in Gaza, I would actually not support them, but I would support the other side? Is that what this is, like, trying to not so subtly imply? What a fucking insane thing. There's got to be more about me. Come on. Oh, here's one. Always Marco ridiculous funnies 2 weeks ago. Dude, oh, look at this one. Always Marco doesn't read a video description. Oh, look at this one. YouTube is not reality. Influencers suck. Oh, these
All right.
these all have to be about me, right? Let's just check. Where's the original one about me? Is it this? Did he delete it again? Initially, he deleted it once I exposed him. But
All
let's
right,
see.
so today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going beyond a simple history lesson.
This is a satire, but I wouldn't mind knowing always Marco's actual position on these things. Look at these comments. Thanks for deconstructing Marco's twisted mental gymnastics. Appreciate that. Exactly what I was going for. This thinking needs to be applied to all news stories before they go to air. What Marco did to me was pretty dumb, exposing me. All I was doing was exaggerating. Oh, see, now he was just exaggerating. Yeah, your faceless AI Zionist slop, which you defended and tried to play the victim over in comments, was now just exaggerating. You never said you were exaggerating in the initial video. You never said you were exaggerating or doing satire in any of our comment exchanges. You never said that it was exaggeration or satire when you deleted the video and then brought it back and put a new title on it. You never said it was exaggerating when you made a privacy complaint on my video. Now it's exaggerating. No one is really dumb enough to believe in space lasers, etc. I was just saying he was talking nonsense. Oh, okay. I was just trying to point out the obvious bias as just framing one party as the bad guy and the other as the victim without context. Oh yeah, kind of like y'all do, right? Funny about that, the initial video I shared about him was meant to be a bit diplomatic because oh my god, look at all this. Look at all this yap. Look at all this fucking yap. Oh, he's following every detail of my life. I feel bad for Marco. His toilet overflowed with shit. Well, actually, that didn't happen. It was in the furnace room. His bank balance is negative. It was, and then it was for like a day, and then it wasn't. It reminds me of those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. Oh, yes, you guys, you got it. I was cursed. My bank account was frozen for a day, and the money that I owed for taxes was taken, and the plumbing in the new house had roots growing into the pipes, which caused it to back up, which was also 2 days of me not being able to be here. Actually, it was more than 2 days, but all of that was because I spoke badly about Israel, and God cursed me. Bad goy, bad goy. From time to time, I need to remind myself of that, especially after all these positive comments I got. Being interviewed on CoffeeZilla never translated to anything positive happening in my life. I'm not reading all that. Okay, let's continue.
Lesson to really look at how a historical story can.
Permission to teach Scott and Peter how to make AI slop videos? Yes. By the way, Burger Brand, I got to react to your episode on BFR. Paying for ChatGPT Premium just to make this. How would we goon in Gaza if there was no buildings left? Wait, let me get this straight. We all just got arrested by hummus? Yeah. You've never done back gooning with your bros? Oh my God. What up, Dave writes?
Be twisted, reframed, and yeah, even weaponized through satire. We're about to pull apart this really interesting and kind of provocative piece of online commentary that does exactly that.
They were settler colonialist babies. Rattles are just early stage weapons of oppression. I mean, seriously, what kind of document actually says something like that? It's absurd, right? It's shocking, and it's the hook that pulls us right into a very specific and very strange argument. So let's find out where this comes from.
Okay, so the source we're digging into is called, get this, Marco's Definitive Notebook of Blame, TAM.
Okay, this is another, like, storybook, like, hypothetical thing that never actually happened. Okay.
Yeah, that title alone with a little trademark symbol kind of tells you we're not dealing.
Okay, Dr. App says, he thinks you're like the Queers for Palestine people. A straight guy of Middle East descent can absolutely have a principled opinion on the matter. I agree.
With a dry history textbook, right? It's immediately setting itself up as something we need to analyze, a case study in a very particular way of arguing.
So first things first, we've got to get our heads around the premise here. This whole thing is satire. Its only goal is to make fun of a specific type of argument by pushing it to a ridiculous extreme. The idea it's mocking, it's this notion that you can blame the state of Israel, which wasn't even a thing yet, for violent stuff that happened to Jews before 1948.
So how does the author do this? Well, they don't just...
I never said that. Obviously, I don't even need to say I never said that. I think we get the trend at this point.
Come out and state their point. They build this case example by example, and as you read, you start to see this clear, repeating pattern emerge, and that's exactly what we're going to follow.
Okay, so just to give you a little context, these are the historical events the notebook pulls from.
Oh my God. Now it's just like outright Zionist propaganda.
For literally centuries.
And boom, here's the formula in action.
In fact, Marco's explanation, it was... I never said this.
On one side, you have the
violence. This was a really violent period. Widespread attacks against Jews on its head.
Okay, this is just his own little Zionist history lesson with me, like, fake inserted into it. Marco's explanation, Jews were colonized in the Middle East with their lives, what?
Jewish refugees fleeing the Nazis in Germany, and reframes them not as people running for their lives, but as these provocative aggressors who are colonizing the region just by, surviving.
Oh my God, this is so retarded. Marco's explanation. Wait a minute, man. I mean, any lawyers watching this, like, I don't actually care about suing somebody. I'm not going to sue somebody. I think anyone can watch this and realize this is complete nonsense slop. But, like, if I made this video about somebody else saying, like, falsely quoting them as saying this stuff, surely that's defamation, right? Like, saying your opinion on another person is one thing, and saying that you think they're bad and whatever, but actually, like, attributing words to them that they never said or even implied, surely that's defamation, no? Not that I care, but I mean, what the fuck?
Fact is that people who had just barely survived an act says, geez, by piece, satire, all the subtext suddenly becomes the main point loud and clear. And this right here, this is the set.
Marco insists everything before 1948 was somehow Israel's fault. When did I ever even make comment about the historical? Go find me the video. At least source the video you're making this up from. Well, you can't because you made it up. At least generate an AI video and train an AI on all of the hours of content of me speaking out there, and at least make a fake video of me saying something with AI that I never said. You know, don't just type it on a screen.
Set up for the punchline of the entire piece. The authors can be possible ridiculous false choice.
Option 1, the absurd. Jews had access to time-traveling space station, or it was naked anti-Semitism. Oh, anti-Semitism. Guys, you got me.
Option 1 is pure sci-fi. Maybe the violence wasn't some complicated reaction to a country that didn't exist yet. Maybe it was just plain old anti-Semitism that didn't need an excuse.
So fucking retarded. Yeah, anti-Semitism. Never mind the fact that actually not only are Arabs also Semites, but go try to, I'll just say this. Go try to get DNA testing done in Israel. Go Google the last name, the real original last names of every single prime minister of Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu, Golda Meir, what's the other guy's name? Ben Gurion. Go look up what their original last names were. These people were, Netanyahu's real last name is like Milcusics or something like that. Let me Google. Netanyahu. Real last name. Born. What's his real name? It's like Mil Netanyahu, real last name. Milkowski. Milikowski. Born in Warsaw, Poland. So, it's so funny.
He imagines.
They accuse people.
All right, today we're jumping into
They accuse people of being anti-Semites when the people that they're accusing are actually Semites, and in many cases they themselves are not even Semitic peoples. So I mean, wow, it's really something. What is this channel even? It's just, this channel is literally just fucking slop. Oh, there's more. Okay.
The satire forces you to see how much simpler the real
Bergensteinowitz, so funny.
Explanation might be. So, okay, what's the big picture here? What are we supposed to take away from all this? This whole piece, it's not really about just teaching history. It's like a masterclass in seeing the power of framing an argument and how narratives get built and twisted, especially in heated online debates.
I want to talk to this guy in real life and see if he's actually this fucking insane and all over the place conversationally as he is on the internet.
You see, at the end of the day, this notebook isn't really a history lesson. It's using history as a tool. The real topic here is rhetoric. It's a critique of a very specific way people argue online. And it's designed to help all of us spot when a historical story is being bent to fit a modern-day agenda.
Yeah, don't talk about him, Marco. Bank account's going to be frozen again.
So let's really break down the tactics this satire is putting a spotlight on. First, you've got reframing aggression as just context or self-defense. Then there's blaming victims just for existing or trying to survive. Third, there's anachronism. It's a fancy word, but all it means is blaming people in the past for something that happens in the future.
Every accusation is a confession. Literally everything he's saying here is what they do.
And finally, you have completely flipping cause and effect to create the story you want. Honestly, being able to spot these tricks is a huge media literacy skill. And all of this leaves us with one last, really critical question to think about. This whole satirical piece hinges on that word, context. It's the word the author uses over and over to mockingly justify violence. So the question we should be asking ourselves whenever we see arguments like this is pretty simple. When does context actually give us clarity? And when does it just become an excuse?
It's interesting that there are comments like this one saying, thanks for deconstructing Marco's twisted mental gymnastics. Because who is this person commenting that? Like, what did you watch aside from this video? This is probably his alt account. What video did you watch where these mental gymnastics like were even on display? You know, when did I say anything? Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this response. He replied to his own comment and said, that's a lesson maybe Marco will learn someday. All I know is I'm done with him. Okay, I doubt that you're done with me. You're going to keep making more bullshit videos. Here's what he said. He replied to himself. He was unprofessional sharing a Facebook profile I hadn't used for 13 plus years and saying my full name to everyone. He thought he looked tough, but I saw it as so desperate and pathetic. I didn't respond immediately to a clown. Well, you responded and made multiple more videos about it that I didn't even know about until weeks later. And what do you mean? What is your point about saying your first and last name? Your full fucking name was in the description of your YouTube channel where you made a video about me. Your full name was in it. What are you talking about? There was a literal link, a clickable link that took the user straight to your profile. your personal Facebook profile. Oh, well, I hadn't used that Facebook profile for 13 years, and he said my full name to everyone. Guess what? Again, just like the scammers who say I make these videos just to make money, I wouldn't be making these videos if y'all weren't scamming in the first place. And Ariel, you little bitch, I wouldn't be making these videos. I wouldn't have mentioned you on my stream if it weren't for you making your video about me in the first place. And you know what? Quit while you're ahead, because I have the recorded footage of that stream, and I'm this close to, I decided not to, but I was this close to actually deciding to cut that down into a shorter video and publishing it on my main feed as an actual video, not a live stream, not a multiple hours long live stream that the majority of my viewers are not going to watch, but publishing it as an actual video and, an example of the type of Zionist drivel that you cowards like to put out there, and literal fake news. And I decided not to do that because I was like, let him go. He's a small fry. He's not worth it. But now that I see that you've made more videos and you're in the comments trying to grandstand and act tough and whatever. I mean, again, still playing the victim. I hadn't used the Facebook for 13 years and he said my full name to everyone. Now I'm thinking, you know what? I might have to actually cut that footage down into a full video and make another video. Pussy-o. Where's the fucking... He's got one more here. Always Marco, who doesn't read a video description before he starts bumbling live stream. Here's the description. The question is, after October 7th, Hamas said, okay, well, they don't... Blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck about any of what you're talking about right now. What would be the Marco plan for post-October? These people are insane. Oh, yes. No, hold on. Did I watch this? Oh, I commented on this. I can't wait to react to this on my next stream. He wrote, can't wait to see the reaction a month ago. Mind you, 2 weeks ago, he was out here putting privacy complaints on my channel for reacting to it. He literally never said that. Yes, it's supposed to be satire. I'll make more. Oh my God, look at all the yap. Look at this. I'm not reading all that. Oh my God.
All right, let's get right.
Oh yeah, this is the original video. Oh yes, this is the original video. He changed the title again. That's why I didn't recognize it. It's called Always Marco Doesn't Read a Video Description Before He Starts Bumbling Live. This was the original video I reacted to. He then deleted it. He then brought it back with a new title. He's now changed the title again and released more videos. Wow, I love it. I absolutely... Barbecue sauce. Rudely licking barbecue sauce off my fingers is my... If I was a character in Super Smash Bros. Or, Fortnite or something, that would be my emote. That'd be my go-to emote, licking fake barbecue sauce off my fingers rudely. Okay, what up, Affinity Life? What's up? Appreciate you. He sounds obsessed. New Marcoverse character. How about new Marco Stalker, right? What a bitch. Is he friends with Scott and Peter? I'm sure he's about to be. Scammers like to play the victim whilst creating victim. You know who else likes to do that? Oh my God, I'm so funny. You know who else likes to do that? Israel. Yeah. Scammers like to play the victim. Yeah, roast me, but I'm friends with Scott and Peter. We pretty chill. Yeah, me too. I consider Scott and Peter my friends too. I consider Ariel my friend too. As weird as it is. I consider Dale Calvert my friend. I consider Vince Goodrum my friend. I consider Ray Bans from Amway my friend. I love it. I love all of them. I really do. This dude's fucking insane. This dude's actually fucking insane. Oh my God, AI fucking slop that nobody watches except me. Oh, and he changed the thumbnail of the video too to the word clueless. It's just, I see. Well, wow, that's all I've got for y'all today. New Julie Anderson video is in the pipeline. I don't know, maybe if somebody on the replay watches this and sees that we only got $17.03 out of the $100 dono goal, they'll drop an offline bag, and maybe they'll drop an offline bag, and I'll have to drop it tomorrow. But aside from that, I'm working on this Indian psychic video. I went to 3 different Indian psychics and spent $50 on each of them for a consultation where they read my palm and they did some astrology. Basically, they all had seashells on their desk, and I had to like shake the seashells and throw them like dice, and they like saw which ones landed flat and which ones landed on the round part and were wobbly, and that, I guess, told them something. And then they read my palm and they asked me some questions, and after that, they diagnosed the problems in my life and told me what I would have to do in order to fix them and how much it would cost. And the whole thing is such a crazy racket that I can't even believe it. I can't believe you've done this. So excited for you guys to see that. It's a hidden camera video, by the way, and I think it might be RIP to the spy pen camera, which I have right here, because the actual pen part, if I can show you this, the actual like pen part, which is right here, that you can put a new like ink thing in, is like broken. Like it's loose. It doesn't stay in there. And the actual pen bit, I can't actually, I can bring it out, but it has to be like in the perfect spot. And if I press down on it, I can kind of use it actually. Okay, it's just kind of janky. So I mean, I might even have to, if I'm not able to use it properly as it was meant to, I might still just be able to like put it in the lapel and have another pen I'm writing with and let this one just be stationary as like the camera pen. But you see, there it is. See that? Can you see the lens in it? Do you see the lens? It's right here. Do you see that? Let me see if I can get some light on it. It's really hard to see. But yeah, it opens up like this, comes in half, and then inside there, this is the actual pen bit where you can put the pen ink or whatever, which you can't see. And then here is the real magic here. Let's focus on that if I can. Come on. There. There is the charging slot and the SD card slot. And the SD card is actually plugged in over here. So you see the little micro SD card slides into the pen like that. This is a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, so pretty impressive. Goes inside like that. Pen closes shut like a normal pen. So basically the top half of a pen is the SD card and the computer of it all, and the camera, and the bottom half is literally a normal pen. Oh yeah, this thing is kind of fucked. Am I able to still write though? It kind of works, but I think it just has to be a lapel pen henceforth. Not bad. Not bad. I've had it for 5 years, so that's pretty good. It's crazy though. I tried to look up recently and see if there's like a newer version of this same thing that's better quality. I'm thinking like surely the visual quality of these micro cameras has improved. Bro, it's literally the same still. It's horrible. But if you're going to get one of these, make sure you record audio separately. I record audio in the video. You'll see I record the audio with one of these Rode wireless mics, which you've for sure seen people use before, like that. I use one of these for the audio, and I just had it in my pocket because the audio on this thing, don't even bother. You can get away with bad visual quality in videos, but the audio has to be good. Super Soy Marco. Why Super Soy Marco? I was also going to say, too, I got a lot of followers recently on Instagram. The most followers I ever had in my life was in 2021. I had like 17.2K at the peak. And then in 2022, I decided I wasn't going to do, MLM content anymore. And, I was just going to move on to different things and whatever. I had a lot of stress from lawsuits and whatever, but then I came back to it. But during that year when I wasn't doing it, I was like actively trying to remove followers and subscribers who were just here for MLM content, which in hindsight was a mistake, but I was going through shit at the time. What can I say? And so I culled my Instagram following down from 17K to like literally 10K. And now I'm finally back up And a few days ago, I hit 17.2K again. And now I'm actually at 17 point, can we see it? 7K. Look at that, 892K views in the last 30 days. So it's been really crazy. It's been a lot of followers. And one thing I'll say is, if you're interested in making content of any kind, you just have to post, bro. And if you're not confident in your content, post on trial reels. You don't need followers. I swear to God, you don't need followers. It really shouldn't even be called social media anymore. It should be called like interest media. Because if you made a brand new Instagram account or TikTok account, the app works perfectly fine to entertain you without you following even one person. You can go to the For You page on TikTok with a brand new account where you don't follow anyone, and within literally minutes, the algorithm will have gotten a sense of what you like based on what you interact with and, you know, how much time you spend watching each type of video. So you don't even need to have followers per se. You can literally just make content about whatever, and the algorithms are so good at finding people who are interested in that content. Post it as a trial reel. It won't even appear on your feed. People won't even be able to go to your page and find you and find that content from you. Literally just post anything. Post anything. And don't even worry about editing videos. Make a video of you filming something and post it as a trial reel. Swear to God. Let's see what y'all are saying. Oh, super spy, Marco, not soy. Got you. Scott and Peter think I'm super soy. The MLM people must make those spy pen cameras. Fits their model. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I have a lunchbox size 1 gigabyte external hard drive. Are you serious? Now they have 32 gigabyte micro SD cards. That's crazy. There's actually bigger micro SD cards. They have, oh yeah, nobody tell Dr. Rap. They have 512 gigabyte SD cards and 1 terabyte thumb drives. What's a trial reel? When you go to post a reel on Instagram, you can literally select trial reel. You can flick on a button that says trial reel when you go to post it, and it doesn't post it to your feed or to your reels page. It posts it just like into the algorithm, into the stream of videos on people's reels feed. So, yeah. You know. You guys don't have trial reels? Surely you do. Reinstall the app or refresh the app. I mean, update the app. Do you guys do what I do, where you go into like every Monday you go onto the App Store app and you swipe down to refresh and you update everything? Because every Monday is when the updates come out. I don't know if you knew that. Because I don't have automatic updates on. Dr. Ebb says, I'm just old. Found out today that my top of the line PC 9-year-old doesn't meet the system requirements for Windows 11. Yeah, that's a whole new thing, the fucking Windows 11. Or what is it, Windows 10? Which of the one's being canceled? Which is the one being discontinued? Microsoft ends support for Windows 10. Yeah, that's a big problem. Shalom, what up, Mo? How's everyone's week? It's okay. I'm hanging in there. Anyways, I'm about to piss my pants. So appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you again on Saturday. New Julie Anderson video, maybe. If you see the Julie Anderson video pop up, it must mean somebody dropped a bag pun our head tops. So yeah, I only checked that when app's not working. So yeah, fucking appreciate you guys. Sorry, Mo, you're late, but rewind. We had beef with our Zionist friend Ariel Bakshande again. And believe me when I tell y'all I'm working on I'm overwhelmed with the work right now, especially on this guide. I'm working on this free guide for people who have loved ones in MLM to try to teach them how to help get their loved ones out of it. So yeah. All right, I'm going to piss my pants. Peace.
Marco.